We're studying the Y-DNA, and under the 12 marker, when you buy your test, you can get the cheapest they used to give was the 12 marker. And then a little more expensive was a 25 marker, which included the 12, but then a few more. And then 37, and so forth and so on. As they test more genetic material, it gets a little more expensive. Problem is, if you only get 12 tested, you don't have a very high degree of accuracy of finding, you know, a grandfather or a great grandfather. You can have perfect matches, and you still may be, you know, a few hundred years away from actually being related to somebody. So by the time you get out to 37 markers, though, let's get out here. By the time you get to 37 markers, if you've got an exact match, that's good to great grandfather, great great grandfather, that sort of territory. You're going to be accurate around, find people that you're absolutely related to back in the 1750 to 1800, for example. In a 67 marker, be accurate even farther back, 1600 to 1700, for example. Let's go back to the top then. The the people that are exact match at 12, we'll take an example, Belgium. One person in Belgium had a match to the 12 most common markers that are tested, R12. And since they have 1,000 people from Belgium have turned in their DNA, 1 out of 1,000, that's the percentage. So if they've got a very large sample, England, 46,000 people turned something in, 36 had an exact match to me. Well, that's good data at 0.1%. So you can kind of say probably 0.1% of England will match us on the first 12 markers. Let's get something crazy. Jamaica. Only 175 people in Jamaica turned in the DNA. One of them matched us. Well, 1 out of 175 gives a crazy number, 0.6%. Well, there's no way over 0.5% of Jamaica has my exact DNA. We're looking at one guy working in an office somewhere or running a hotel, and he turns in his DNA along with a few other people. It's just where he is now. He happens to be in Jamaica. So you can't, shy away from a small sample. Don't get too excited about it. Okay. Now, in the comments, if you know your longest distant ancestor, then you write that down. Now, some people are guessing. A lot of people are just wrong, but at least that's what they said. So, of the 9 people that are a perfect match, one of them said he was from North Rhine/Westphalia. Now we're looking at the genetic distance one away. In other words, out of those 12 common genes, 11 of them match and one doesn't match. Which one doesn't matter is just simply the odds of 11 out of 12 are, yeah, we're probably related, but it may have to go back a long time in history before you find your match. And so, same things apply. What's interesting here is we look in Belarus. 3 people in Belarus matched my DNA, and that was out of 1,700 that turned in their DNA. So 0.2% is pretty high. And 2 of those 3 were Ashkenazi Jew. That's significant. And if we roll down here, you see another Ashkenazi from Germany, another Ashkenazi from Lithuania. So probably back between 500 to 1500 AD, uh, somewhere in Northern Europe, and this would include the Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, Germany. We have a pretty strong strand of Jewish ancestry. It's diluted beyond belief by now, but as far as the Y chromosome goes, there were a few uh, that were Jewish, at least for a time. They were. Now, as we go up in markers, the number of people that match drop dramatically, but that means those that do match are coming closer and closer to our time. So, a perfect match on 37, for example, you can almost say that's a first or second cousin. And if it's somebody you never heard of before, and that match goes all the way back to 1800, that's a pretty interesting find because you found somebody that genetically is as close to you as a first or a second cousin that you never knew anything about, and that's what's happened here, which we'll get into in one of the other discussions. By the time you get out to 67 markers, there's nobody matching at all. The closest one is 5 away out of England. That 5 away at 67 distance, that's probably a match down around 1500, which is